Hello everyone and welcome to the lab series video. In this video we're going to talk about the new BlockChyp terminal branding system. And this is something that has changed a lot in recent days. We've always supported the ability to upload logos and videos and slideshows. But with this last release we made a lot of changes to it, made it a lot more powerful, a lot more you can do at the sort of corporate region level. And so I'm going to go through a lot of the things that we've changed. I'm going to start with kind of the most simple use cases and kind of work my way up to some of the advanced features. Now, this particular feature is not something that really requires the use of APIs or developer stuff. Everything I'm showing you here is just in the portal. There's no need to code anything to take advantage of it. So I've set up kind of a test merchant account. I've got a bunch of terminals configured. I've got one terminal sitting over here under the camera. That's just in the kind of plain Jane BlockChyp configuration. And so what you'll notice is there is first of all, you have a media library, and this has always existed, where you can upload images, videos, if you want to have in your library that you can use wherever you want to use them. And then you also have this new terminal branding interface, and this is probably the most plain Jane version of it. So if you have a brand new BlockChyp merchant account, if the organization or corporate or region you belong to, your store belongs to, doesn't have anything set up, if your ISV partnership doesn't have anything set up, this is what you're going to see. You'll see the BlockChyp logo. So the first thing you'd want to do is maybe just put a logo on the screen. So that's really easy. You click Add Media. Then you have the option to either browse from your existing media, or you can upload something right here. And we're going to pick the latter. So we're going to go ahead and upload straight from here just our basic logo. So it uploads, and it puts it in preview mode, as you can see. So this kind of shows when you upload an asset, whether we don't automatically push it to the terminals because you might just want to try it out. You may not want to do that. But if you want to publish it, now that it's uploaded, just click Publish. And if you look at the terminal in a few seconds, the logo will show up. Now, notice the logo is pretty wide. It fills up the whole screen. Now, some logo artwork might have some white space on the edges, some might not. If for some reason you want to add a little space just to make the logo look a little bit, less full, you can click this button that says Padded, and we'll add just kind of a predetermined margin around the logo for you. And you can see in a few seconds it's reduced. It looks like that. So that's all you got to do to put a logo on the terminal. Very, very easy. But there's also other things you can do. For example, you could put a video on the screen. So this time I'm going to pick a video I've already uploaded. I click Add Media. I click Media Library. I can see I've got a little video here. We give you animated GIFs as preview images. I'll click that. I'll add it. It doesn't show up at the terminal yet because I haven't published it, but you'll notice I can kind of see what the video looks like up here. And even if the video had sound, it would play the sound up here so I could hear what it sounded like. Now, we suggest that you don't necessarily do that. Having a lot of videos with sounds can be pretty annoying on loop, but you're free to do it if you want to. So if I click Publish, we'll give it a couple of seconds. And now the terminal is showing the video. So that's pretty good, right? All right, let's talk about slideshows. Now, slideshows are the only type of media that you can't add in line. Like if I had an image or a video, I could upload it here. And pretty much whatever image or video format you have, our system can scale it. You don't have to worry about making sure your videos are output to a specific resolution. There are some minimum resolutions we recommend, but if they're unusually large, we can go ahead and scale it down for you. So the only thing that we would need to go to another screen to do is to set up a slideshow. So I'm going to click Manage Slideshows. It'll bounce over here. I'm going to create a new slideshow, and I'm going to call this Product Slideshow. And I'm going to have, let's make it 3 seconds between slides. And then all I can do is I can pick images from my library to put in the slideshow. So I'll just pick this, this, and this, and I'll submit it and save it. Now, if I go back to terminal branding, now I can pick the slideshow from my list here, click Add, and you can see now it's giving me kind of an animated GIF preview of the slideshow, so I can see what it looks like. And I can also publish it And now over here on the terminal, you will see in a couple of seconds, it will override the video, and now I'm seeing the slideshow. So that's pretty interesting, right? Now, right now, I've got multiple assets loaded, but only one is visible, and that's going to be the one that's on top. Now, if I wanted to, one of the cool things that you can do with the system is that you can change the timing. You can have certain types of branding assets that are only visible at certain times if you want to. For example, you could add seasonal media. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to add a piece of media here that I've got in my library for Christmas. So let's upload that. And you can see now I've got this holiday Aviato thing here, but this is just going to be visible during the holidays. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here and I'm going to change the effective date to be the day after Thanksgiving, which is Friday. And then I'm going to have it be effective until maybe December 31st, right? And so I'll go ahead and take this off preview and save it. So now you can see that this is at the top of my stack, but I don't see it yet. Now, if I wanted to simulate it, let's say I wanted to just sort of see what would happen if this happened to be, since it isn't yet the 26th of November, I could use this little tool here and preview what would happen on this specific date. So let me just set it for the 26th. And you can see now it changes it for me. So I can kind of preview, what would happen, just in case you've got a lot of complicated rules, and it might be helpful to see all that. So I'll click back to real time, and now you can see we're back in effect here. Now, if I wanted to show you how this would work on the terminal, I could always just kind of cheat and change the timing to the current day, and then I'll save it. And you can see now it shows up on the terminal, right? So that's pretty interesting. I'll change it back. So take it back to the day after Thanksgiving, 26th, and save it. All right, let's say I wanted to do something even more short term. Maybe I have a flash sale on the weekends from maybe 4 to 6, and I want to promote that. So let me add a piece of media related to that. So I'll upload that, and remember this is in preview mode, so I'm not going to publish it yet. What I'm going to do is now I'm going to get down here. It's going to be effective all the time. I do it. It's not just a holiday thing, but just on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday between maybe 4 o'clock. If I could get it right, and 6 o'clock. There's 6. And then I can save that. I'll take it off preview so it's live. And so now you can see if it happens to be on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday between these hours, it would appear. So let's say I'm just not sure how these rules interact and I just want to check it. I can always go up here. I can pick let's make it after the holiday card goes into effect. Let's make it December 4th. Let's change the time to this time. And you can see now it shows the preview over here of how it would look on the screen at that time. So I could always just sort of look and see what's going on. So let's say you want to change priority. So down here I have all these sort of various types of assets. And obviously all three, since none of them have any date control, only the one on top can be visible. Let's say I wanted to leave one of these in reserve. I didn't want to delete it necessarily, but I wanted to go ahead and make it the one that takes priority. I could just drag and drop. So I can drag that up here, drop it, and you can see now the video takes precedence if it's not during the holidays. And you can see over here on the terminal, it's picked up that change already, right? In real time. Let's say I'm looking at my assets and I just want to preview one. I just want to see what one would look like up here on my little preview window. I could just click the little eyeball, and I don't have to get into any kind of complicated date simulation logic. I can just see what it would look like. That's one way of doing it. All right. So everything I've done so far has been at the merchant level, right? So just one store, one location. I have multiple terminals, so this would all show up in multiple terminals, but the new branding system does allow you to get more granular, so you can do things at the individual terminal level, or at the, or you can do them at the terminal group level. You can create terminal groups. So I'm going to start by showing you how we can create some terminal groups. So I'm going to create a group. Let's call this, let's see, front terminals. So these will be the terminals in the front, and I'll check off the ones that this would apply to. Let's create one more group. I'm going to call this phone order terminals. And we'll check these two terminals. So now I've got those groups. So I spelled that wrong. Let's respell that. Details matter. Okay, so if I go up here to front terminals, I can go to the terminal branding button, and I can see what the terminal branding would look like at this level. So I see all of the branding that is sort of below me in the stack, but I can also overwrite it just at this terminal group level. So I'll go ahead and do that. I'll go ahead and grab a piece of media, maybe one of the, maybe just one still, maybe the Erlich Bachmann Funko Pop, which I actually happen to have sitting over here, a real one. So I'll do that, and now you can see that it says that the owner is front terminals, that that the level is terminal group. So if I click publish, because this terminal that I'm working with happens to be a member of this group, in a couple of seconds it will change and now display that particular image. But if I go back to terminal branding at the merchant level, you can see that it doesn't show that artwork. It's just an override at the terminal group level. And I can take that even further if I want to. So if I look at my list of terminals, I'm working with a terminal called Lane 1. This is my terminal. It's showing me what the current branding would be on this terminal, but if I want to, I can even override it at the specific terminal level. So if I click this, I'm going to see the branding stack again, but you can see now my current level is terminal. This is Lane 1. I can also add a piece of media at this level if I want to. So I'll go ahead and pick another still image, maybe the coffee cup. Then I'll publish that, and you can see in a couple of seconds the terminal will update with the coffee cup. So that's how you can you can override merchant level defaults at various levels. And you can do all the timing, all that stuff. Now in practice, you may not want to go too crazy with that. It might be better to keep things as simple as possible, but if you do want to do some terminal or terminal group level overrides, you can. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to kind of strip a lot of this stuff away, and I'm going to show you how to manage branding at the multi-store level. Okay, so it's deleting some media here, and we're going to do that down the whole smash. We're just going to delete all the media that we've created. Now, bear in mind that when we do this, it's not actually going to it's not going to delete the artwork from the system, just the assignment of the artwork to a terminal. So I'm gonna strip this down and take us right back to where we were with no media at all. Okay, now I'm going to switch accounts. So I'm going to go up to the a partner I've created called Pied Piper. And so what I'm going to do is, this one already has a logo uploaded. I'm going to go ahead and create. This is basically if you're a software company or an ISV, you can set up all the default branding for your ISV at this level. So I'm going to go ahead and select this Pied Piper image, and I'm going to publish it. And I don't like the way it looks fully scaled like that, so I'm going to go ahead and add the padding. That looks a little bit better, right? So now if I go back to the merchant level, so I'll go back to Aviato, and we'll look at the terminal branding here. Now you can see that the Aviato logo shows up here, right? So I can, but you'll notice that it doesn't change right away. So our terminal still has the default on it. That's because any branding changes applied to at the corporate, at kind of the multi-store level, like regions, corporate level, or partners, those are going to get picked up about once every hour. Those changes will get picked up. If you change branding at the merchant level, terminal level, or terminal group level, the updates will be within seconds of real time. And if I wanted to force this to pick up an update, what I would do is I could just add branding really quick. Like if I publish it, it forces the terminal to pick it up. And I could also remove it. So now you can see the terminal has picked up the corporate logo. So this is a scenario that would apply, let's say, if you're an ISV that has a point of sale system and you want your point of sale system's logo to appear on the screen by default. You would just set that up here at the partner level, or at the partner level, and you can, and that would show up. So the merchant could override it, but if they didn't, then your logo would show up. And you'd also have access to all the timing stuff. So if you had a holiday version of your logo, you could also put that there. Now, by default, we do not allow partners to configure videos or slideshows, because we don't really want you to sort of hijack the merchant's brand. It's really just more you can have some sensible defaults. All right, so that's how you would set this up at the partner level. Now, you could also do branding we do have this notion in BlockChyp of what we call an organization. You can have multiple levels of an organization. For example, an example of why you would do this is maybe you've got a multi-store, you've got a corporate level where there might be thousands of stores. You might have those subdivided into regions. That's kind of what that's all about. So what I'll do here is under corporate tools, I'll go to terminal branding, and I'll assign a logo at this level. We're going to call this logo Huli. And I'm going to publish that. I'm going to go ahead and pad it. I think it looks better with some padding on it, so we'll pad it. You can see it looks a lot better like that. So I'm going to switch accounts. I'm going to go back to the Aviato merchant. I'm going to go back to terminal branding. And now you can see that how things work in terms of order of priority. You can see that I've got a logo configured at the corporate level and at the partner level. In the corporate level, so a multi-store organization is always going to take precedence over the point of sale or ISV partner. ISV is kind of at the bottom of the stack, the terminals at the top. So if I wanted to, remember, when you apply branding at the corporate or partner level, it's not applied to terminals immediately, right? That's because it could affect thousands of terminals at once. We kind of feel like it should be more of a gradual approach. So the terminals always check at least once an hour to see if their branding has changed. So the worst case scenario is if you apply a change, it could take up to an hour to show up if it's at the organization or corporate level. But if I wanted to sort of fake it out and force the terminal to update itself, what I would do is just basically add some media at the terminal level. You can see now it shows up. Then if I got rid of it, it's going to default back to the Huli logo, which we should see in a second. And there you see it. All right, so let's put all this together. So now I've got a partner logo and I've got a corporate logo. I could override, because I do have multiple regions here. You'll notice that I've got the Huli corporate, and then under that is the Intermountain region. And even the region itself could have its own branding. Maybe you have different branding you want to use in the Northeast versus the South versus the Southwest. Like, you could have different branding for those things if you wanted to. So I could add special branding that would only apply to certain regions of my terminal fleet. But we'll go back to Aviato. And we'll just kind of go over the basics again. So for most merchants, when they first log into their merchant account, they're going to see probably at least a partner logo in here. Now, they can't change it, right? I can change it because I happen to be a user for the partner. But if a merchant comes in here, they can't override or change or manage any of the partner or organization settings, only their own stuff. They could add stuff on top of it, but they couldn't change it. They couldn't change the layout or anything. So I'll go ahead and add some media here. So for example, I could add my logo. And that's going to override. You can see there it's taking precedence. If I want to pad the logo because maybe I feel like it's just filling up too much of the screen, I can click padded and save it. If I wanted to temporarily disable an asset, I can just disable it. And then it doesn't even get previewed. So the difference is if something is in preview mode and enabled, it won't appear on a terminal, but it will appear up here in the terminal window, so you can kind of play around with it before it's published. Or if you disable an asset, it doesn't appear in either place. All right, so there we go. And you can see that it overrode with the Huli logo when I put it in preview or disabled mode. All right, again, you can add video, so I'll go ahead and pick a video from here. Very easy, I can go ahead and publish it. And it takes a second, and then there it is, showing up on the terminal. I could do the same thing with slideshows. I could pick a product slideshow. add it, publish it. I like it. Should take a couple of seconds, and now it's starting to show up on the terminal. And you can see it's going through the slideshow. If for any reason I want to change the order of things, it's all drag and drop. And that's real time as well. You can see it's changed to Aviato. If I want to add media that is maybe not always on, for example, all of these are always displayed, right? And the one on top is going to take precedence. If I want to play with the timing, I can do it on just basically a date range. Like for example, if you want to have holiday media that you want to be displayed, you know, from the day after Thanksgiving to maybe January 31st, you can do, or December 31st rather. You can do that and save it, and you'll notice that right now it's before Thanksgiving, so we don't see that. But if I were to, if I wanted to see what it would look like, I could change the date there. Then my terminal preview would show me what the terminal would be displaying at this specific date, and then time if I had that kind of granularity. I can also have media that could deal with maybe more short-term, maybe recurring display, not necessarily a date range. For example, the flash sale example from earlier, I could say, hey, maybe on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday between 4 o'clock. Actually, let's make it between something that would be active right now. So we'll make it 2:30 p.m. And then we can do, maybe it's open until, maybe we have it until 5:30 p.m. And let's go ahead and save it and publish. So that would show this artwork on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday between those times. Now today's Tuesday, so if I wanted to display on my terminal right now, I just would click Tuesday and save it. And then there you can see it's on the terminal. That's basically it. If you want my kind of best practices would be to, if you're a partner or an ISV, maybe throw in a logo and a holiday logo, keep it at that. Try not to get too fancy, because merchants will want to override this at their level. And for merchants, probably do most of your changes at the merchant level. The use case for terminal groups and terminal specific overrides has more to do with if you want different branding in different regions of the store. A good example of that would be sometimes you may have consumer-facing branding that you want to be on the terminals that are out front, but there are some scenarios like this is very common in pizza delivery where there might be a phone bank where they're able to, where there are terminals back there so that you can have secure keyed entry, and maybe you want some kind of employee-facing messaging on that. But that's basically the deal. And if you get confused with where you are, you can always look at, okay, I'm at the merchant level. You can see which merchant it is. You can also click on it, and you can drag and drop things and change them. If you want to see what any piece of artwork or branding would look like on a terminal without necessarily pushing it to a terminal, just click the eyeball over here, and it will show you what that looks like. And you can click back to real time to show you what it would look like at the current time. Another thing I want to point out is if you're a big chain, you have lots of stores and lots of regions, the times that you put here are going to be the times in those various time zones. So it's not going to be like, you know, so it'll be, if you want something available from 3 to 6, it'll be 3 to 6 in the various time zones. It won't be one continuous block of 3 hours. And if you don't like that approach, if you want it to be more configurable, that's a use case for maybe changing things by region, right, which you can do. So this is the new BlockChyp terminal branding system. There's more work coming on this, but this is a pretty good start. So this should allow you to manage terminal branding and schedule it without needing to do things manually for one simple little merchant location with one terminal, or all the way up to a big national chain with tens of thousands of terminals. So hopefully you find this useful, and we'll see you next time on the Lab Series.